Hari Om. We shall read from verse number 25. Daivamevapare yajñam yogina paryupasate brahmagnavapare yajñam yajñenaivopajuhvati श्रोत्रादीनीन्द्रियाणन्ये संयमाग्निषु जुह्वति शब्दादीन् विषयानन्ये इन्द्रियाग्निषु जुह्वति सर्वाणि इन्द्रियकर्माणि प्राणकर्माणि चापरे आत्मसंयमयोगाग्नौ जुह्वति ज्ञानदीपिते द्रव्ययज्ञास्तपो यज्ञाः योगयज्ञास्तथा परे स्वाध्यायज्ञानयज्ञाश्च यतयः संशितव्रताः अपाने जुह्वति प्राणम् प्राणे पानं तथा परे प्राणापानगतिरुद्ध्वा प्राणायामपरायणाः अपरे नियताहाराः प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति सर्वेप्येते यज्ञविदः यज्ञक्षपितकल्मषाः. So, person of realization sees everything as Brahma. Brahmarpanam, Brahmavihi, everything becomes Brahma. So, there remains no division of any kind. That oneness, that Advaita Drishti he attains. And that itself is the ultimate knowledge which leads to moksha. So in order to do this stuti of this highest yajna, wherein one comes to see Brahma everywhere, Bhagavan also talks about other yajnas which can be done as a sadhana. So he elaborates all these yajnas which are like a very important sadhana for all seekers. So he talks about Daiva Yajna, wherein we offer all our karmas to Bhagwan. He also talks about the control of our senses, also offering good Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha into the senses, or control of the senses and the mind with knowledge. He talks about Dana, Tapas, about Yoga, about Swadhyaya, and study of the scriptures, also on Pranayam, Puraka, Rechaka, and Kumbhaka. And also Bhagavan talks about discipline in our ahar, eating. So all these are different types of yajna or different types of sadhana which helps to purify our mind. Mind is filled with lot of raga, dvesha. Mind is filled with kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsar. So when we do this sadhana, These are very, what you call, revealed in our Vedas. When we do this sadhana, the mind becomes pure. And with a pure mind, we can gain that knowledge. So Bhagavan continues with the stuti of this yajna. He says in the next verse, Yajna shishtamrita bhujaha yanti brahma sanatanam nayam lokostya yajnasya kutonyah kuru sattamam yajna shishtamrita bhujaha yanti brahma sanatanam. Yajna shishta amrita bhujaha yanti brahma sanatanam. Bhagavan says those who eat the amrut, which is, what is that amrut? Yajna shishta. Yajna shishta means what is left after performing yajna. Just like we have puja, and then what is left we call prasad. After yajna, what is left is called yajna shishta. But here, all these are different types of yajnas. So when a person performs this, follows these different types of yajna, whatever time then left, then he takes in the ahar, which is, or gets the result. The result is like amruta only, like nectar, which gives lot of joy, lot of peace to a person. Because as we follow this path, as we do the yajna, as indicated, the mind start becoming pure, and pure mind automatically start giving us great joy and peace. So that itself is like yajna shishta. It's like prasad. In the second chapter also Bhagavan talks about prasad. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopa prasanna chetaso yashu buddhi paryavatishthati. He talks about prasad as the prasannata of our heart. Once that prasannata comes, then it becomes easier for us to meditate and realize ourselves. So this is called yajna shishta. So those who perform these various types of sadhana, and only after performing sadhana they partake of food or whatever intake, such people, because of this sadhana, slowly and steadily reaches that Brahma. Brahma is the ultimate goal. So one comes to realize that Brahma. Sanatanam Brahma, yanti Brahma Sanatanam. Sanatan means eternal, eternal Brahma. See, that supreme reality is called Brahma in our Upanishads. Brahma means that which is infinite, not limited by anything. That is big, infinite, not limited by space, time, objects, which is the source of all this creation, is called Brahma. And that Brahma is our own self, the inner self, not ahankar, but the inner self. So one comes to realize oneself as Brahma by following this yajna. But there is a steps also are involved. So first the chitta shuddhi happens, then we gain knowledge, and thereafter we gain that state of enlightenment. If a person, let us say, dies without attaining that knowledge, but if the mind has become pure, then he goes to higher world, up to Brahmalok, and in that Brahmalok stays for a long time, and then after it is said that gains knowledge directly from Brahmaji and gains mukti. It's called Krama Mukti. See, there are different lokas. We are in this world, it's called Martya Lok, but there are very higher lokas, lower lokas, different. And depending on our purity, we are born in different lokas. Means depending on papa and punya, person is born in different lokas. If lot of papa is there, we go to Narakalok. There fresh, what you call, oil, boiling oil, and some, anyway I don't want to describe, but Narakaloka is there. And then what you call Swarga is also there. Bhagavan said, but these are temporary lokas. Kshine punye martilokam vishanti. When we have punya, we go to Swargalok. And when the punya is exhausted, we come back. When there is more papa, one goes to Narakalok. But when one has followed this path of attaining that moksha, then one, if one has not attained that moksha here, then one can go up to Brahmalok and thereafter stay there for a long time and gain moksha from there. So that is what Bhagavan says, that yajna shishta mrita bhujaha, those who do this sadhana. So just by doing our karma itself is not complete. We have to do special proactive sadhana to clean our mind. That is very important. And when we do it, see, for example, we wash our clothes. Water is important, but if there is lot of dirt or it is unclean, then we use soap, we use some detergent, heavy detergent powders and all to clean it. Similarly, Karma Yoga cleans our mind, but Upasana further cleans our mind. If lot of dirt, if we are carrying from our past, they also gets clean when we do this Upasana, this Yajnas. Bhagavan says if one doesn't do it, so many Yajnas are mentioned here. He says that if a person doesn't do it, then that person doesn't even attain joy in this world. Na ayam lokaha asti ayajnasya. See, many times we say, oh, that person is giving me trouble, I am feeling so miserable. If you ask some person, how are you? This is a very dangerous question. They will make you sit and tell their very sad story sometimes, in detail. Well, everyone has got some sad story or other to tell. I mean, not everyone, but many people. So we feel that this person is giving me sorrow, that person is giving, this situation is giving. No doubt that situation and person and all becomes nimitta, but the sorrow is caused by our own mind. Our mind itself is the cause of our sorrow as well as happiness. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Mind alone is the cause of our bondage as well as liberation. So we can't blame others. And what mind causes sorrow? The mind which is unclean. The mind, even one negative quality, one anger, one jealousy, one pride can cause so much of misery in our life and everyone else's life also. So all these things are there which cannot be wiped out just like by taking some pill. You go to the market, jealousy ke liye thoda pill de do. Nothing like that. That would have been better. You just take some medicine, you become free of jealousy. Then again you go to take medicine for pride. You can talk to each other also. What are you taking? No, nowadays I am taking medicine for anger. ऐसा नहीं होता है. We have to proactively work, because what is this negativity is nothing but misunderstanding. Because if one has got proper vision, proper understanding, lot of this can be wiped out. So this also, it's a bad habit of our mind which we are carrying from past lives. We might have forgotten the reason behind our negativity, but the negativity remains. That's very strange. Like our health also, sometimes we may not remember all the thing which we must have eaten and all, which has caused this ill health, but the ill health remains. Similarly, we carry forward our negativity from our past lives also. So in order to wipe them out, the scriptures have given us this sadhana, which we have to do sincerely. They are very simple and doable. Many people, they complain that, oh, it is not practical, oh, I cannot do it, and it's very difficult. It's not difficult, because they are told by Bhagwan, and he tells us what is doable. He doesn't tell some impossible sadhana. Every day you go for jogging on the moon. So that will be impossible. But some doable sadhana. Eating we do, just have to regulate our eating. Breathing we do, just regulate your breathing. Perception, all those things we do, just regulate it. Senses, anyway, many times we control day to day, but do it properly. So all these sadhanas are very simple, which are doable, but one has to do it. So Bhagavan says, those who don't, na ayam lokaha asti ayadnyasya, they don't have this life also. In this world also, they every moment they feel, they experience so much of misery, so much of difficulties. So even this life is not attained by them properly. Though we are born, we are living, but we are not fully living. Many live in the past. Some have some expectation of the future. Present is not desirable. So, a lot of misery. So, Bhagavan says, those who don't follow even one of this, forget about all, even one, if we follow sincerely, that will help. So, na ayam lokaha asti ayadnyasya kuto anyaha kurusattama. He kurusattama, he Arjun, the best among the Kauravas, that what to talk about the other world. This world itself is not there for them, other world is also not there. Means there is no evolution for them, there is no good gati for them. This is not that Bhagavan is cursing them, but this is the natural law. You follow this, you get the result. It is like a cause and effect. We know the cause and effect in this physical world. And if there is some problem, we go to that person, expert. Even if our mobile is not functioning, we go to that expert. Arey Baba, ye kya ho gaya hai? Then he does it and he says, okay, this is. So there is a law behind it. There are some rules. It follows certain rules. And since it is something internal, you can't open it and wipe it out and all. It follows rules which are subtler. Sometimes we have to change the whole software or something. Similarly, the mind also follows rules, but they are subtler rules which have to be understood from the experts. Bhagavan is the expert. Yogeshwara Krishna is called. So from him we have learned this sadhana. So Bhagavan says you follow it, otherwise you will not have this world also and other world also. But what is this sadhana? Is it something which Bhagavan just thought about it just now in the battlefield? Or is it something which was known before? He says in the next verse, Evam bahuvidha yajnaha vitata brahmano mukhe कर्मजान विद्धितान सर्वान एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्षसे एवं बहुविधा यज्ञाः वितता ब्रह्मणो मुखे. एवं मीन्स 10 बहुविधा यज्ञाः वितता ब्रह्मणो मुखे. in the Vedas. Here, Brahma, one meaning of Brahma, as I said, is that supreme reality. Brahma has other meanings also. Brahma also means the Vedas are also called Brahma. Okay? Veda Brahma. Ved are also called Brahma. So in the Brahma, means in the Vedas, Bhagavan says many this type of yajnas are spread out everywhere in the Vedas. This is just a sample Bhagavan has given. Not that only this many are there. Many are there. Vitata Brahmano Mukhe in the Vedas. Lots and lots of yajnas are there. Why? Because Vedas are meant for everyone. From the very tamasic, very basic person to the most evolved, for everyone Vedas have given guidance. It is not meant for only one type of people, or one class of people, or one people of one nationality or something, but the guidance is there for everyone. The most tamasic person also some guidance is there. Because the whole purpose of Veda is meant for human being. So if one is human being, then Vedas have some guidance. And it slowly and steadily guides each one according to their level, guides us towards moksha. Guides us towards moksha. We might not understand in the initial stages and all, we might not understand the logic, but just we follow it sincerely, we'll reach our destination. So, evam bahuvidha yajnaha vitata brahmano mukhe. In this mukha, in the mouth as though of Vedas, lots and lots of yajnas are mentioned. But all these yajnas, Bhagavan says, are karmajan. Karmajan means to be done, or what you call it, they are action based. They are activities. But these activities lead to knowledge. But they are all to be done. They are not something to be just we know about it and keep quiet. But they tell us you do this, so we have to do it. So karmajan vidhi. Karma also we do at different levels. At the level of our body, with our speech, senses, with the help of our mind. So different levels we perform karma. So all these yajnas are karma based. So karmajan vidhitan sarvan. And very interesting, Bhagavan says, ki evam nyatva vimokshase. Once you know this, you will become free. Now and then he gives us the hint of gaining that state of enlightenment. He says, karmajan vidhitan sarvan evam nyatva. When I come to know that these all are karmajan, karmajan means they are in the field of prakriti. I, the Shuddha Atma, I, the Self, the Antaratma, am not doing anything. See, what you call, sometimes we, like little children and all, they play that, what you call that, gol 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 ghumte hai, merry-go-round and all, ringa ringa roses and all. So क्या होता है that the whole, for little children sometimes fine, but elders if they start doing, even when you are stationary, ringa ringa roses continue. No? You are stationary, but you feel as though everything is moving around. Even if you travel, train or some other bullock cart and all, even after getting down, you feel as though you are still in the train. You must have experienced. But you know that I am stationary. What is moving is maybe my head. What is moving is maybe my mind. What is moving is maybe some liquid in behind my ears or something. But I am stationary, that I know. Similarly, as one does this yajna, in the beginning we will do it with the sense of doership. But as our mind starts becoming more and more calm, more and more peaceful, then what happens? We will come to know that I am just a witness of this, that it is just happening around me. It's a very beautiful doha by Kabir Das ji. He says that previously I used to chant Ram, 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 Ram. Nowadays I just sit quietly and Ram, he does the japa for me. First I used to do japa, now I don't do japa. Now it goes on. It's called ajapa japa, or it just happens. Many people say, मैं कुछ नहीं करता हूँ, चल रहा है. It is true. Really speaking, I don't do anything. It happens automatically because it is happening in Prakriti. Prakriti means all this, even your buddhi, ahankar, mana, chitta, these pranas, everything is included in Prakriti. Wherein, what is your role there? My role is nothing. So when a person comes to when we do this sadhana, when our mind becomes extremely pure, and when we gain that knowledge with the help of the scriptures and all, then it will become extremely clear to us that this is all karma happening, but I am not the doer. What was said in that 18th shloka, karmani akarma yah paschet, that becomes true. A person comes to know that the karma is happening, but I am not doing anything. The body is moving, I am not moving. The tongue is chanting Bhagwan's name, I am not doing anything. The mind is thinking, I am not doing anything. I am just a witness. When we come to realize this, we come to realize our real nature, we become free. We become free means we are free. We think we are bound. So through this sadhana, we come to know this. By any other, just see, sadhana has to be done as per the guidance of the scriptures. We cannot just do manmani, whatever. Nowadays, actually, modern people have modern, because they get maybe tired with all this, or maybe it sounds very ancient, so we want modern sadhanas and all. It's more fancy and all. So if it is said that, oh, we will have meditation class under the tree and all, with soft music and first class and this, and after that you will have some special meditation drink and all, you will get a lot of people coming. What we add in the drink and all should not be revealed. So, fancy things like, there is nothing fancy and nothing modern. No new discoveries can be made in the field of spirituality. You can make new discoveries in the field of your mobile phone and all, but no new discoveries. All that has to be known, and all that can be known about spirituality, about sadhana and all, are already given in our Vedas, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Upanishads, in our Puranas, in the Itihas. What is required is we have to study them. We have to contemplate. They are so deep that it's like a beej. One little seed contains everything one has to know about making a tree. One little seed. Let us say what you call apple seed. Chota sa hai. You can just chabao it. But that seed contains the knowledge of how to convert mitti into apple. How to convert mitti into beautiful trunks and branches and leaves and tasty apples. Who knows? That seed knows. Mitti doesn't know. Mitti is buddhu. Mitti doesn't know. But the seed knows. If you roast the seed, that knowledge will get roasted. But if it is alive, that seed knows. And through proper stages, it comes out into wonderful. So the scriptures also knows, and it puts a seed of knowledge into us through karma yoga, through upasana, and at the right time, given the right moment and all, it grows. It grows into that knowledge. We come to recognize ourselves. So karmajan viddhitan sarvan evam nyatva vimokshase. Therefore Bhagavan says, कि understand, when we understand that all these yajnas are karmajan, they are born from karma, and karma is happening in Prakriti, and I am just a witness of all this. First we have to do the sadhana. We do it with the sense of doership. But as we do it, slowly the sense of doership goes away. Our Pujya Gurudev used to give example like this. A family was driving and suddenly the car stops. So the child was sitting there inside. He said, "Daddy, I will push the car." And from inside only he was trying to push it. And after some time again the car started. And Daddy also said, "Very good, beta, because you pushed, car started." But really speaking, the car is working on some other system, not because he was pushing. Similarly, all the Prakriti is functioning because of some other thing, not because of our any involvement. So the sense of doership drops as we do this sadhana. And once that happens, we become free. So evam nyatva vimokshase. Therefore, all the sadhana, the purpose of all sadhana, spiritual sadhana, is to take us towards this knowledge. Jnanad evatu kaivalyam, atma jnana, samyak drishti. When we gain this proper vision, we become free. So that jnana, that proper knowledge itself is called jnana yajna. So Bhagavan praises that jnana yajna in the following verse. He says, Shreyan dravyamayad yajnat jnana yajna parantapa sarvam karma kilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Shreyan dravyamayad yajnat jnana yajna parantapa. He Parantapa is Arjuna's name. Parantapayati iti. He used to give lot of afflictions to his enemies and all. They used to get scared of him. Therefore he is called Parantapa. Ki he Parantapa, Shreyan Dravyamayad Yajnat. All these yajnas are mentioned. There are some yajnas which are mentioned which involve some dravya also, like dana and all. Also, all these yajnas are the products of karma. So better than this yajna of dana, which involves some material things, which involves action, better than them is jnana yajna parantapa, is jnana yajna. Jnana yajna is that which leads to that samyak jnanam, that drishti, that everything is Brahma. That is the jnana. That everything is sarvam kalvidam Brahma, that I am that Brahma and everything is Brahma. So, all these yajnas finally lead to this jnana yajna. Jnana yajna is the shreya, the best. Our Pujya Gurudev also then named this Gita Jnana Yajna and all. That was the name given by our Pujya Gurudev for this lecture series which he started on Bhagavad Gita. He used to call it Gita Jnana Yajna. Now that term is become very famous everywhere. People then use it for others also. Upanishad Jnana Yajna or Ramayana Jnana Yajna or Bhagavad Jnana Yajna. So Jnana Yajna is the yajna which leads to knowledge. But what is that yajna which leads to knowledge? Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan. It is not some physical action which we have to perform. But after gaining the purity of our mind by following this sadhana, we have to listen to the scriptures. Bhagavan will be telling the method. Listen, contemplate, meditate. Then we gain that understanding, that vision, that knowledge, that the self in me is the self in all, that I am that Brahma. See, at present the I is not known. Something else only we consider as I. We are, like for example, this chocolate is there and it is wrapped in some wrapper and all. And if we eat it along with that, no doubt we will experience the sweetness, but we also experience a lot of other things. Because the wrappers are there. Similarly, we experience our own self at present also. Everyone knows I am, I exist, but we experience ourselves with the wrappers. A wrapper of our Sthula Sharir, Sukshma Sharir. So when we do this sadhana, we come to know our inner self, and then we come to know that this inner self is Brahma. So that is called Jnana Yajna. That is the Jnana. So Shreyan Dravyamayad Yajnat Jnana Yajna Parantapa. Hey Parantapa, better than all this Dravyamay and Karmamay Yajna, Jnana Yajna is the best. Why? Because Sarvam Karma Akhilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. Ki hey Partha, all karmas ultimately merge into knowledge. All karma, their destination finally is this self-knowledge. If that self-knowledge is not reached, karmas will never end. It will go on and on and on. Like our tissue paper box, that at least ends. They might say 200 papers are there, but if you really count, might be less also. So if you pluck one, another one comes up. You pull it there, another one comes. So it ends. But here, you perform one karma, another karma is there behind it, and goes on and on. We feel that after death, everything will be over. No, we are born again. Many people say, मुझे और जन्म नहीं चाहिए स्वामी जी. स्वामी जी कुछ नहीं कर सकते. I am not the manager of Janam and Mrityu and all. But many people, they say, we don't want to be born again. They don't want and all. Again, they are there, back to. We might not recognize, अरे ये तो शर्मा जी है. We might not recognize them, but we come back again. Because our karmas are not exhausted, our vasanas are not exhausted, our desires are there, infinite, so we are born again and again. The only way we can exhaust these karmas is through knowledge, not by performing more and more action, not by fulfilling more and more desires. In Mahabharata it is said, to fulfill desires, to exhaust our kamna, is like putting fuel in fire. The more fuel you put, the more the fire blazes. It never comes to an end. The fire can burn the whole earth also, and still will not be satisfied. Similarly, our kamna doesn't get satisfied by fulfilling them. Kamnas will get satisfied by knowing ourselves. That knowledge, self-knowledge alone concludes all karma. So, sarvam karma, akhilam karma, parthat jnane parisamapyate. Atmat jnane, not in some worldly knowledge. All these karmas come to an end when we gain this atmat jnana. So the question is now, that how can we gain this knowledge? what is the method. And by coincidence, this has come today on this Teacher's Day. Bhagavan says you approach a teacher, go to a teacher and learn. No, I don't want any teacher and all. Then your ahankar will teach you. See, many people say, I don't have any teacher, I am a self-made man and all those things. I teach myself. Teach myself means ahankar keeps teaching us. Ahankar is not a wise this. Our own mind teaches us, our own buddhi, but it has got negative samskar, so we remain at one level only. It's like sitting in a bucket and trying to lift ourselves. You can try, not possible. I mean, I did not try, but I just know through the laws of physics, not possible. Similarly, sitting in our own ignorance to come out of it by ourselves, it's not possible. We have to take help. We have to approach a teacher. And this is the most beautiful words. Bhagavan says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninastattvadarshinaha tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Bhagavan says, Tad Vidhi, gain that knowledge, know that knowledge by approaching a teacher, Jnaninaha, who is knowledgeable, Tattvadarsinaha, who has seen the Tattva, who has seen that supreme truth, who has experienced it. Approach such a teacher. And how to approach? Pranipatena, Pranipat. Pranipat means do namaskar to the teacher. Sashtang namaskar. Acha. Or pariprashnena, and ask questions. Ask questions. And sevaya, by doing seva also. Then what will happen? Upadekshanti te jnanam. That teacher, those teachers will give you that knowledge. Who are the teachers? Jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. So we in our life we have many teachers. Our parents are our teachers. Then we go to school, college, so many teachers. On the path of dharma also we have so many teachers. On the path of spirituality also we meet so many teachers. In our scriptures, in the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, the quality of a teacher is revealed there. It says, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. How the teacher should be Shrotriyam. Shrotriyam means the teacher should have the knowledge of the Vedas. Because we have seen this before also. To know that I am Brahma, the Praman are the Vedas only. It cannot be known through any other means. We cannot know that I am Brahma by any other means. By perception, by inference, by comparison, by other means of knowledge, we cannot know. Because that Brahma is not an object of our perception. Therefore, it cannot come under any inference also. It doesn't come under any experience also. The worldly, at present, the experience which we have, उसके अंदर भी नहीं आता है. So, it cannot be known by any means. So, the only place which talks about that are the Vedas or any scripture which is connected or which has taken the truth from the Vedas. The Vedas are called Shruti, so Smriti, Puran, Itihas, and so many related texts are there which talks about it. One is that it is revealed in the Vedas, but Vedas not only reveal that Brahma, but Vedas also reveal the technique by which we can realize that Brahma. So there is a method also which is there in the Vedas. So when we know, a person who knows, a teacher who knows the Vedas will not only know that Brahma, will also know the technique of revealing that truth. And one who has seen that truth is the teacher. Because, as I said, it is not under any other purview. Many people actually in modern times, not only modern times, in the times before also, come up with their various theories and all. That will not help us. Also, experience is not the criteria also. If you keep on doing something by yourself, different types of experiences also we get. Many people say, oh, बहुत ही experienced महात्मा है. नहीं, 10 साल से कुछ नहीं खाया उन्होंने, ठंडे पानी से स्नान किया. If you do this, you will get some experience, no doubt. But that experience will not be anywhere near Brahma. People get all sorts of hallucinations and all. They see all colors and light and devatas and all. Just experience itself is no sign of truth. That is very important. Because experience, our mind is so tricky that mind can give us whatever experience we want. ये experience है, अब भी मैं देता हूँ. Mind is very tricky. You read about something, this experience I get if I do this. You sit, you start getting that experience. So mind is very tricky. One has to rely on the right scriptures, the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishad. Nothing modern, nothing different, nothing other things. That is very important. So tad vidhi, by gain this knowledge by approaching a master, jnaninaha. So once our mind becomes pure, when we follow the path of karma yoga and upasana, what happens? The mind becomes pure, and a pure mind, a jidnyasa arises. Who am I? Because that I is so strange, so very subtle, so very mysterious. All of us, as I said, all of us, we have the experience of I. We have this experience at 3 levels. They are called 3 levels of experience. Avastha Trayi. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. 3 levels of experience we have. Jagrat, now all of us, hopefully, Jagrat Avastha, wherein we experience our own presence. I am. And I am aware of this world. So through my senses, I am aware of this world. So there is I and there is this world. And there is some medium through which I experience this world. So my senses are there, mind is there, intellect is there, ego is there, our memory is there, and I experience this world. Then we have this experience of dream, wherein we are not aware of this world. Other jivas, other people are aware, but we are not aware. We are fast asleep and we dream. So this dream is also a very strange experience about ourselves. We experience ourselves in our dream. We might be at one place, our physical body might be at one place, but we might dream that we are somewhere else. Dream is projected by my own mind, antakarana, and I experience that. In my dream also I experience my own self. I experience that I am, and I experience this world. Then we have the experience of deep sleep state, which is the most mysterious. Everyone has got this experience, but at that moment we are not aware of anything. It's totally dead to the whole thing. We are not aware of a body, we are not aware of the world, we are not aware of our mind, we are not aware of anything. Absolutely zero, as though totally wiped out. But when we wake up, nobody says that I was not there. All of us, we say we were there. So there is a thoughtless, there is a strange experience of my own presence, which I then translate through words, translate through my thoughts, that yes, I was present there. But I don't know where I was, how much I was, nothing is known. So that I is called that inner self, which cannot be known by any other means. So one has to recognize that self as that supreme Brahma. So one approaches the teacher with proper attitude. So when our mind becomes pure, we develop that jidnyasa to know that. I want to know this. Ko hum, main kaun hu. Main kaun hu means ahankar kaun hai nahi. That everyone wants to know. We are not talking about who am I means who is this ahankar. Who cares for ahankar? We want to know who is this inner self. उसको पहले समझना चाहिए कि वो है, and we should have that desire to know. That desire comes when our mind is pure. So one has to approach a teacher. A teacher is one who knows it, who is experiencing it, and who knows the technique of communicating. That's very important. The teacher knows how to communicate this knowledge. Because there is a system, there is a way. And the way we think, way we act, way our mind functions and all is known to the Vedas. So it knows how to communicate this. So the teacher, one has to approach with proper attitude, proper respect. So here he says, pranipatena, doing namaskar. Namaskar is a sign of our humility, our surrender. When we do namaskar, we are saying that I am surrendering to you. I have come to you to gain this knowledge. Even we find that in the second chapter, Arjuna surrenders to Bhagavan Krishna. Before that, he did not teach. But when he says, ki I surrender to you, ki shishyaste ham shadimam tvam prapannam, I am your shishya, please teach me. Then Bhagavan starts teaching. Because only when we are ready, the teacher can teach and we can comprehend it. You cannot teach a person who doesn't want to learn. That can be done only in some schools and all, or some colleges. Many times you find some students, they don't want to learn. They are sitting there. So we have to be open. We want to learn. So that pranipat or namaskar is a sign that I have come to you. I am ignorant. I don't know. I have come to learn from you. Namaskar. So my pancha jnanendriya, karmendriya, my ego, everything I am surrendering to you. You teach me. You guide me. Pranipatena. That is one thing. Then pariprashnena. That is also very important. We have to ask. Because the teacher is giving us knowledge, we have to ask question. We have to, and depending on our question, teacher also knows where we are, where we stand. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji has written here what type of questions also generally should be asked. He says, Katham bandhaha, ki how this bondage has come in my life, what is this bondage? Because we are talking about moksha. Moksha means freedom. Freedom means that one assumes that one is bound. So what is this bondage? Are we physically bound? Are we emotionally bound? Are we intellectually bound? Are we bound by some magic and all? Some devatas are holding us something. What type of bondage is there? So katham bandhaha. Then katham mokshaha. Then how is this freedom? What is moksha? What exactly is freedom? That also we should ask the teacher. Then we should ask ka vidya. It is said that vidya or knowledge gives us liberation. So what is this vidya? What exactly is this vidya? Ka vidya. And this vidya element is avidya. So what exactly is avidya? Kacha avidya. See here now 4 questions are there. You contemplate on these 4 questions. As we study, the answers also will come of these 4 questions. But वो ध्यान में रखो, आप लोग भी चिंतन करो. You know what to ask when you meet a teacher. Need not be asked in Sanskrit only, but if you ask in Sanskrit, काफी need not be asked in Sanskrit. But this is the gist of it. कि what is the bondage, what is liberation and all. काच अविद्या इति परिप्रश्नेन सेवया Guru Shushrushaya. Sevaya means do seva. See, when we go approach a teacher and we do namaskar, we surrender to the teacher, we say that I want to be your shishya. Shishya means I want to follow you. I want to listen to you. I will do what you are saying. It's called shishya. See, there are different people who approach great Mahatma. There are some who are devotees. We say, no, I am a devotee of that great Mahatma. Devotee means we like that, we love that person. Devotees itna shreshta nahi hai, we should become disciples. The devotee doesn't want to follow, he just want to like. नहीं, जैसे फेसबुक में लाइक करते हैं और चुपचाप बैठ जाते हैं. They are called devotees. Disciple is one who has surrendered, who says, I will follow your teaching. Because most of the teaching, all this teaching ultimately will lead to moksha, but it will lead to the destruction of our ego. And the most dearest thing to us in this world is our ego. कोई हमारे ईगो की स्तुति करता है, we feel great and all. Ego is great. What is ego? Ego is your sense of I, your sense of self, with which you have created due to misunderstanding because of the association with this body, mind, intellect and all. Not the real self. A false notion of our own self is called ego. Ego is always associated with avidya, with ignorance. So considering myself as the body, considering myself as the mind, then identifying with all the emotions, all the memories, all that thing of the mind, a personality we have created with our thoughts, our emotions, our experiences, our memories and all, and that is our ego. So I am holding on to this. Teacher will tell us tell us that you drop this and hold on to that Brahma. I remain same. I remain same means that the inner self is same. Now it is holding on here, it should hold on to that Brahma. So whatever sadhana the teacher will tell will not be really speaking liked by the ego. Ego will not like it. Will find some fault or something somehow not to do it. Therefore, unless we surrender, unless we place our ego at the feet of the teacher, it is very difficult to do this sadhana. Because we should be able to do whatever the teacher tells us. If he says jump, you jump. Not that he will tell you to jump, but I am just giving an example. So that type of surrender is required. Otherwise, so ज्ञान नहीं होता है. It is not that you go to the market and whatever you like you take, what you don't like you give up. It is not like that. Generally what happens, teacher speaks, whatever I like I note down. If I check your notes, you will find whatever you like. What I don't like I don't note down only. अच्छा ये स्वामी जी बताया था ना, मैंने तो नहीं लिखा उसको, नहीं ना लिखा तो बात ही नहीं है उसकी, यू डोंट हैव टू टॉक अबाउट इट. सो व्हेन वी डू surrender and when we do seva of the teacher, what happens? We start getting tuned to the teacher. We start identifying more and more with the mind, with the thoughts, with the vision of the teacher through seva. Without the teacher speaking also, slowly and steadily we start identifying with the vision, with this knowledge of the teacher. We come to know. It's like a little child identifying with the mother. The mother also understands the child also understands the mother. So similarly, when we identify with the teacher doesn't even have to speak. Even with mauna, we will gain this knowledge. Mauna vyakhya prakatita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam. Just by mauna, we can understand. But if he speaks, as soon as he speaks, it becomes clear. So the highest type of student is one who can just listen to the teacher and gain that knowledge. Little lower, one has to listen and contemplate, then we gain. Or listen, contemplate and meditate, then we gain that direct experience. So tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. One has to do the seva. There is a famous story of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji also and his disciple. He had many disciples, 4 were main, and one was Totakacharya. Totaka. So he was very devoted to the teacher, extremely devoted, and constantly used to do his seva. Just washing his clothes or taking care of his needs and all. So, and Shankaracharya used to give discourse every day to his disciples. So, one day he was about to start the discourse and he found that Totakacharya was missing. So, he asked, ki kahan hai wo? He said, he must have gone to wash your clothes or something. So, he said, let us wait for him to come. But he was not very intelligent, not very scholarly. Others were very scholarly, all the other disciples. So they started just giggling and laughing that usko, whether you wait for that fellow or doesn't wait, ki farak penda, usko kuch samajh mein to nahi aane wala hai. So Shankaracharya ji also felt bad. And then Totakacharya also constantly doing the seva. So he also prayed that, oh, my dear teacher, you give me this knowledge, bless me with this knowledge. Every day is to pray that bless me with this knowledge. So after he waited and he came, and then as soon as he saw Bhagwan Shankaracharya, he just spontaneously, a stuti came out of him called actually that Totakashtakam. A beautiful Sanskrit stuti of Bhagwan Shankaracharya. Vidita khila shastra sudha jalade. So he spontaneously started praising, and in that praise he conveyed the very essence of the scriptures. Just like that it came, and all of them were stunned. That time his name was not Totaka, but that meter in which he chanted is called Totaka. So Bhagwan gave that name to him. From now you will be called Totakacharya. So just by being totally devoted, dedicated to his teacher, identifying with the teacher, he could gain that vision. So that is the seva which we are talking about. Then pariprashna, here itself in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna doesn't just keep quiet and mum and all. He asks question. If something is not clear, he will ask. We saw that in the 3rd chapter also he asked. Ki jayate chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojyasi keshava. That if this karma is or knowledge is superior than karma, then why you are telling me to perform this karma? He used to keep asking. And because he asked, so many different facets of this knowledge was revealed. If he had not asked, then ऐसे एक दो चैप्टर में खत्म हो जाती भगवत गीता. समझ में? हाँ, समझ में आ गया. Many times we don't understand, but गुरु ने पूछा तो उनके सामने बोलते हैं हाँ समझ में आ गया, बाद में जाके बोलते हैं कुछ समझ में नहीं, क्या बोले उनको, गुरु को भी कुछ बता नहीं सकते. So that way, pariprashna, you have to keep asking. One to one, we have to remove all the doubts. Because everyone's doubt can be little, the grades of doubts can be different. See, when you are listening to pravachan, it is general. I just speak generally. But when you one-to-one, when the doubt is there, then it can be corrected. Because each person's way of thinking is different. Also, all your samskars and what you already know before or what you have misunderstood can be different. Different people's misunderstandings are different. See, understanding can be only one, but misunderstandings are of variety. Sometimes very shocking also. So in order to remove our misunderstandings, we have to ask. So pariprashna and pranipat. When we do this, upadekshanti te jnanam. And there are teachers, there are always, because Bhagavan has made arrangement like that. Only in Ghor Kali Yuga, then it will be problem. But we have not yet entered Ghor Kali Yuga. We are just finished Dwapar Yuga. 5000 साल पहले. This war, when it was fought, Kali Yuga started with that, with a big bang. So, one has to have, when that inclination is there, we will meet teachers also. So, upadekshanti te jnanam. The teacher will do upadesh. What the teacher gives is called upadesh. So, he gives us the teaching. See, teaching is, as I said, there is a system by which when we learn, things becomes clear. So, upadekshanti te jnanam, jnaninaha tattvadarshinah. Jnaninaha means one who knows, means one who is the knower of the Vedas. And tattvadarshi, one who has seen, one who has experienced that truth, one who has recognized that truth, is called a tattvadarshi. So a tattvadarshi jnani will give us this knowledge. What will happen with this knowledge? What exactly is this knowledge? That is now said in the next verse, that we will do it tomorrow. Okay? Now we will meditate for some more time. So just relax. Don't worry about your parking and all those things. अभी घर में जाना है, जल्दी जल्दी भाग के ये करना है, वो करना है. Just relax. Close your eyes. Bring your whole attention in the present moment, not in the future, but be aware of the present. You have been listening to the pravachan, lot of words, lot of sentences you could hear through your ears. Then there was this response with your mind. Mind responds with some feelings. You feel happy, you feel concern, you feel different types of emotions might come as we listen. Then the intellect also keeps thinking, keep reflecting on what you have heard. It tries to understand. Then all these experiences goes into your inner system, becomes your memories. And you, the inner self, identifies with all this and says, I am listening, I am feeling, I am understanding, I am recollecting. So this I gets associated with the mind, with the senses. But the I, really speaking, is much subtler than even our mind. It is the witness. So just observe your body as a witness. Be a witness of your body. Be a witness of the breathing happening in the body. The breathing is happening automatically. Just be a witness. Thoughts must be coming, different feelings might be coming, arising. Just be a witness. Witness is one who observes without involvement, observes without identification, observes without comparing, observes without judging, just observe. You, the observer, you, the witness, is free from all activities. You are like space in which exists your own body, your mind, your intellect, and the whole world. Om पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।